Hello and welcome to New Junction. You have to excuse me today, I'm nursing a bit of a cold. As you can see, the time has come to put my money where my mouth is and somehow try and model Newcastle station, or my take on it, in this space. What I aim to do is roughly sort of create that much of it, just my own version. And that's going to be starting here. So what have I done so far? Not a lot. I've placed the main points, which are the focal point of the station. As we can see, the entry point to Newcastle station is greeted by all these double slips from the main lines. My next focus is how long are the platforms going to be. I've decided that under no way, shape or form am I going to get a full 11 car rake class 91 into any form of station. So what I've done is I've come up with a compromise. 5 coaches plus DVT on the longest platform. That will then be enough room to house my Network Rail HST and my Junction Central HST. And the 91s will just have to park and cross over the tracks at the other end. So what we're going to do now is go straight into a track lane montage, because you've all seen me lay track before, so you don't need to know how to do it on this video, but progress is the key. So let's see how much we can get laid. And that's platform 1 done. Apologies if you can hear some drilling. There's some work going on. As you can see, that's nice and smooth. Looking down the side of the train there. Now the next hurdle, shall we say, is that you can see the second platform splits off and then curves round, and then of course there's a Y piece which indicates where the curve begins on the station. If I were to curve it roughly at the same point, which is there for looking down, so the pivot on this line would be here, if I can do it one-handed, what it would do to follow the angle of the point, it would actually squidge the station, so that's too narrow. So this is the first point where we're going to have to make a change to make it adapt to fit my boards. So what I propose is where this Y piece is roughly here in the on the real deal. For New Junction, it's going to have to go much further down, so that it can pivot much later. So if I just straighten up the track again, and then pivot it just roughly, pivot it there so they follow the angle. So the idea is as the Y piece goes, the right hand side split on the Y follows this platform. But that means then you get a much thicker, a much wider, I should say, platform. Whereas if I hold it there, the original one would have made it be roughly there, which is far too narrow. So that's the next hurdle we're facing. So simple change like that, and we get a platform which is a realistic size for this size of station. So let's put platform 2 in, I presume, unless I change them around. Let's go. Just coming to the end of the second platform, as you can see we've laid back up. Top tip for you: if you're doing a set track and you're trying to make it join on a curve, and you're yanking about a bit, particularly where it's important that the rest of the line stays straight, my top tip is I leave my widest track setter in the track, so then you can yank the piece of track around all you want, and the end bends to conform to the angle you want. However, this bit in behind holds rigid, so if you stick a track pin halfway, then you've got the track setter, you won't bend that bit while the track setter's physically sat there any more than the angle that it allows. So what it means is you can then pivot the remaining section of track, therefore getting a straighter connection, which is a handy top tip for you. As you've probably seen, my other half has just popped me up a hot chocolate, as it's absolutely freezing and I'm nursing a cold. So I'm going to drink that and finish platform 2. And there we are with platform 2. I've put my dummy train in for now. A couple of things I'm looking for as I'm doing this is, the main one is if you're looking down the station, obviously my track's on a curve, so your coaches are going to be kinking as they're trying to turn. So you see here there's a kink. What we're trying to make sure of is it's not too dramatic, so that if you're having a straight run of platform, there's going to be no points where it's going to obviously catch. Because it is going round a left-hand corner, it does mean that the platform edge will have to be set back further than on a sort of a standard straight platform, because the coaches are trying to angle outwards. But that's why at this stage we just make sure that the angles aren't too steep. This was the one I was worried about, that matches where the point will go. Just because if it created a too big a kink here, the station platform would be unrealistically, or have to be too unrealistically in. But as we can see, it's not too bad at all. from a scenic point of view, looking down the platform, ooh, focus you in, it's not too bad at all. And there we are. That's the third line laid. I've just tested it with the dummy train, nice and smooth, follows the middle one round perfectly. What I'm going to do now is use this connecting point, which is going to simulate this part just here. As you can see, it splits off at quite an angle, so I've got to give myself enough room to put a big platform in the middle there. Then if you go back to that, you can see, to give the image of this one really curving off, this one has to go at a much sharper angle that way to straighten up. To be fair, that one is a terminus, so in fairness it only has to be big enough for, say, a 3-car DMU. So I'm going to get that laid and we'll see how that looks. And as if by magic, New Junction Central is born. As you can see, it's quite long and narrow. It looks super simple from this angle. You can see it'll start with the 2 double slips in the middle there, from the 3 main lines. The heritage line will also join this lot this time. And you can see the first platform will start much earlier and come all the way round, and the second platform will be there for a DMU terminus. What I plan to do is, because the back scene will stop there roughly, so all of the main track at the back will be hidden. Because the platform curves, I'm hoping I can hide all this behind station scenery, so when you're at ground level like this, as the trains curve round, you won't actually be able to see any of the running trains that are coming from the rear fiddle yard, which will also be tucked out the way. These will be hidden by removable backboards, and then they'll have urban scenery in front of it. So yeah, I've got that far, and I've got to do the remaining part. But you can see my station's just under, I'd probably say in reality it's probably 6 foot of platform that's going to be. So it's taken up quite a bit of room. The board it's on is about 8 foot long, and you can see the join there. Behind me, you've got an 8 foot board plus a foot piece again of running. But same again, I'm going to cut it off early. But I tell you, it's been fun, and I think it's quite a good take on the old Newcastle station. As I say, I was trying to do the right hand side of it, which you can find this image on Google quite easily. You've just put Newcastle station in. Obviously a more modern take on it, but no, I think it's going to look quite nice. That it's quite a good entry. It's very smooth. I filled in all the gaps with the flexi track, with the cut-off sleepers. Ooh, you can't even see that. There you go. And I've just trimmed the tops off, and then slid them underneath, and it looks all complete. So I'm going to leave it there for this episode, because it's been another long one. But as ever, thank you for watching. Take care. I'll see you soon.